Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists veterinary associates with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about the problems associated with a veterinarian working at multiple locations. So there's really two, situations where this could affect a vet. First would be if you are a veterinary associate working for a practice that has multiple locations in an area. And then the second would be if you're a relief vet filling in at multiple practices and they're likely not associated at all. So let's just take the first one first. If you're a veterinary associate and you're working for the same practice, but they have multiple locations throughout the area, the main concern is the non-compete. You want to make certain that if you do have a non-compete, that it doesn't attach to every single location that you're working. And then you also want to limit the time, where you have attached yourself to a location. And let me explain. So a normal non-compete would be, the scope, so what you can't do, the time period you can't do it, and then the geographic restriction. So for instance, it may say you can't practice veterinary medicine for 1 year and 5 miles from every practice location where you provided care. So if you provided care in 4 separate locations, you don't want to have 5 miles from 4 locations. So what you want to make certain is that it only attaches to your primary practice location, meaning the one facility where you've provided the majority of your care. Sometimes it'll be a very open-ended non-compete that just says any location that you worked at for the employer. And so let's say they have 5 or 6 locations in a large city, and then in year 1 they have you go to one location and fill in. Well, technically, if there wasn't language limiting that, the 5-mile restriction would apply to that location. So preferably it would be just your primary location. At most, I'd say 2, and then you want a 12-month look back. So in the scenario where you worked in year 1, but maybe you've been there 7 or 8 years and haven't worked in that location in 7 years, you don't want it to attach to that location. So it should be only the locations where you've personally provided care over the last 12 months. And then, as I said before, 1 would be ideal, but no more than 2. With these big corporate vet practices that have clinics all over a city, you don't want to be completely locked out of the city. All right, so that's kind of the first scenario as a veterinary associate working in multiple locations. The next would be as a relief vet. The same problem. When you're a relief vet, you probably shouldn't have any kind of non-compete in your contract, especially if you're working in a bunch of different locations for a bunch of different practices. So all of the same concerns apply. You don't want any non-compete at all if you're a relief vet. I mean, if you're filling in at a place once a week or even a few times a month, it's kind of hard to justify that you shouldn't be able to practice veterinary medicine at all within a certain radius of the office. So you want to make certain, because most of the time as a relief vet, you're working as an independent contractor, and ideally as an independent contractor, you wouldn't have anything that would limit your ability to work anywhere else. So if you're a relief vet, no non-compete at all. And then there will also be some kind of language, or at least in most contracts, that says called exclusivity or outside activities, and it will say the vet can't work for any other practice without written approval from the employer. 1, if you're an independent contractor, obviously you're not employed. And then 2, it doesn't make a ton of sense if you're an independent contractor to have some kind of exclusive arrangement. In fact, that's one of the factors that would lend it more towards an employment agreement than an independent contractor agreement, and you could be misclassified in some way. So make certain there's no non-compete and nothing about exclusivity, or you can't practice or do any kind of outside activities without written approval. And that way you're not limiting yourself if you did decide to transition from a relief job into more of a full-time employment situation. All right, those are problems associated with a veterinarian working in multiple locations. If you have any questions about your employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm at the information listed below in the description. And I appreciate you watching the video. All right, thanks. Take care.